Now at 5, the decision is being made. But who will America choose?
You know what I believe. You know where I stand.
Change can't be measured in speeches, it's measured in results.
The president settles into Chicago after a final rally last night.
I'm so optimistic.
Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan still on the trail today. Who will Wisconsin send to the Senate? Every rally, every door knock, every phone call.
Just encourage your support.
It all comes down to this.
This is a special Campaign 2012 edition of News 3 Live at 5, Election Night.
Next, we'll head to Milwaukee, outside of Milwaukee, and that's where Thompson's campaign is setting up their headquarters.
And that's where News 3's Theo Keith is right now.
Well, Sarah and Mark, if you're looking for just one word to describe this race, it might be overshadowed, first by the gubernatorial recall earlier this year, and then, of course, by Paul Ryan's pick as Republican vice presidential candidate, and then all fall long by this presidential race itself. Tommy Thompson, you'll know, is hoping that his name recognition and also his old base of support pulls him through. He voted in Madison this morning before one last day of campaigning. $40 million has been spent on this Senate election, the most expensive statewide election in Wisconsin history, save only for the recall earlier this year. Most of that from outside groups. You've no doubt seen their negative ads, but this race is very close, and it all comes down to tonight. Thompson will be here at the Milwaukee Marriott later this evening. If you want one indication of how important this race is for Republicans' chances of taking back the U.S. Senate, all you got to do is look around this room and see all the network cameras trained on the decision tonight.
This is a special Campaign 2012 edition of News 3 at 10.
And now we head to reporter Theo Keith. He is at the Marriott in Milwaukee with the Tommy Thompson campaign.
Well, Sarah and Eric, I heard all of the loud noise going on at the Tammy Baldwin rally. We can tell you that that's certainly not happening here. This is not a confident bunch of people right now, not necessarily because of what's happening in this race, but because of all the bad news that they're steadily getting on the national front from the presidential race. Let's talk about this race for a little bit, though, because the Republicans are saying that the Fox Valley is really key to victory tonight. They know that they're going to get a lot of votes in Waukesha County, and they're getting a lot of votes in the Fox Valley right now. But Tommy Thompson is not winning by a large margin, and the problem with that is because the Fox Valley is only one of 3 metropolitan areas in this state. Dane County, of course, going heavily for Tammy Baldwin, and Milwaukee County, a lot of votes aren't even in right now. Even if President Obama wins this state, J.B. Van Hollen, the Attorney General, stopped by earlier, and he told me that he still thinks Tommy Thompson can win, even with a presidential victory here. And we also talked with Governor Scott Walker earlier about what he thinks about the importance of possibly 2 Republican senators coming from the state of Wisconsin for the first time since the 1950s.
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is for a state that historically has had little or no federal funding, and we're at the bottom of the list in terms of federal dollars coming back. The best thing we could do is have them rein in spending and not just bring more stuff back, but we're paying to send that money elsewhere across the country. It'd be nice if we could pay less and keep more of that money here in the state of Wisconsin as opposed to specific projects.
High voter turnout is a great benefit to him, as it would be to any Republican. But he has an added benefit. Tommy is such a household name and so popular still across the state of Wisconsin that he'll do very well in the rural parts where there are small numbers, but they add up.
And so everybody here really says that this race is too close to call, and indeed, some of the numbers bear that out. You can get the county-by-county map on channel3000.com, and just looking at it, there are still a number of counties with very few precincts reporting, and a couple of them are heavy Democratic counties. Dane County, of course, still has about 40% out. Milwaukee still has close to 90% out. A lot of Democratic voters there. We'll have to see the results, and of course, we'll come back whenever the race is decided. Back to you.
I'm watching very closely. Theo Keith there in Milwaukee tonight. Theo, thank you very much. With 53% of precincts reporting, 49% of the vote to Tammy Baldwin, 48% to former Governor Tommy Thompson. Again, 53% of precincts reporting. Still a little too close to call at this hour. And continuing our Campaign 2012 team coverage tonight, we return for more discussion on that Senate race. Theo Keith standing by with the Thompson campaign. He is in Milwaukee tonight. Theo?
Well, boy, Eric, you know, the mood in this room has really changed over the past hour. People started coming in here at 8 o'clock. They were cheering loudly for both Romney results and also the results that they believed were good here in this state for Tommy Thompson. Since then, it has really changed around. Of course, you've seen the projections that Obama will win nationally. A lot of people have left because of that. Maybe a little surprised. Of course, we're here at the Tommy Thompson rally. But you take a look here at some of these people at this rally, and they're obviously quite concerned, not only for the national race with President Obama, but they're also concerned about some of these results with the U.S. Senate race. You can see on some of our maps that things have really switched around lately, and Tammy Baldwin is now jumped out to a 20,000 or so lead over Tommy Thompson. And that, you look at some of these counties, Milwaukee County, Dane County, still with a whole bunch of precincts left. Milwaukee County, in fact, has 60% of the precincts outstanding. Right next door in Waukesha County, that's a Republican area. It's got precincts left too. But you consider Waukesha County is one heavily Republican county against two heavily Democratic counties, Dane and Milwaukee County. And you might think that people here have a reason to have such long faces on their face, such long expressions. They are starting to leave, some of them. Some of them have started to boo, and many others, though, are still waiting. The campaign, of course, is still waiting as well, because the thought was that even if Barack Obama won this state, the campaign believed that Tommy Thompson could still win, because you know that he has such great name recognition in this state. And so the thought was that he could still win, and they're still hopeful for that result. We will see. No movement from the podium so far. No movement to say that Tommy Thompson is in the room or even close to making any sort of announcement. Back to you.
We're going to go live now to Theo Keith. He has been live with the Tommy Thompson campaign in Milwaukee tonight. Theo?
Boy, Sarah, you know, earlier today people voted at the ballot box, and right now they're voting with their feet. Take a look at this. This is at the Thompson rally right now, and there are, you take a look around, there are maybe 50 people in this room and maybe another 30 or 40 people out in the hallway when I was just out there. This crowd is maybe a third to a fourth of the crowd that was here just about an hour and a half ago. People were really impacted by many of the networks calling the race for Barack Obama. Even though this is the Thompson rally again for the Senate, they were very impacted by Barack Obama winning re-election for the presidency. Many networks calling that. The Thompson race, though, has not been called yet by very many people. Some people certainly, but certainly Thompson has made no indication that that he will be coming out and speaking. In fact, I couldn't find a campaign spokeswoman when I went looking for that person, trying to get an update on this particular race. So we'll have to wait and see on official word from the campaign, but at least from the supporters here, not a lot of them left in the room. Back to you.
I give you our friend, Tommy Thompson.
It was one of the few times the crowd had anything to cheer about Tuesday night. They were applauding not just a candidate in defeat, but the end of an era in Wisconsin politics.
It's pretty near impossible to describe my emotions. I love this state, and I love this country. And I ran for the right reasons because I thought I could serve.
Afterward, Thompson shook every hand and hugged every last person. One man in the crowd said he didn't believe Thompson could lose.
It's time for somebody else. I gave it my all. I mean, I don't think anybody worked as hard as I did.
He said he and his family have never campaigned harder. He put 1,200 miles on the campaign bus this weekend. Some will criticize Thompson for not doing enough campaigning in the weeks after his Republican primary win. That allowed Tammy Baldwin to grab the lead in the polls.
It doesn't pay to, you know, to worry about what could have been or what should have been. It is what it is.
Thompson congratulated both President Obama and Congresswoman Baldwin on their victories on Tuesday night. As for him, he says he's accomplished more than anyone in his hometown of Elroy ever thought he would. In Milwaukee, I'm Theo Keith for News 3 This Morning.